I want to definitely get into some of the not just maybe we can start with Arbitrum, but just the low caps in general. I know you find a lot of low caps. There are a couple of farms that I've seen. Like names that I've never heard of. I just go to your your tweet like Twitter or your profile, and it's just like, what are these? Like I've never heard of these before. And like you're like usually one of the few guys on my timeline that's maybe only one sometimes that are like kind of preaching about or kind of finding these things out. So maybe let's go with a couple of examples, more recent examples on what you're kind of finding and what made you excited about those things, those like tokens.
Right. Before I dig into that, let me do my shameless plug off the back of what when you mentioned that there are a lot of traders that provide information, right, but not insights,
Yeah.
actionable insights. So if you want actionable insights, you can go to my Twitter at LandIfSmile for
I
more
follow him.
insights
Yeah,
and
I get
analysis there.
really early information, so I highly advise people to follow him as well. Yeah, if you're kind of starting with a smaller account and trying to build your capital, yeah, Jeff is a great guy to follow.
Yeah, but also disclaimer on that front, right? When I look at all these different projects, like it's not 100% of the time that I find great finds. A lot of times, especially for the past 2 weeks, like if you scroll down, you will see a lot of bad decisions and bad finds out of this as well. I think when you're investing in micro cap coins,
Mm,
um, it's the price performance and the volatility is getting hugely impacted by the overall market conditions. So if market conditions is bad or is a crappy shopping market like right now, it will be even more riskier and less risk to reward ratio in investing in lower micro cap coins there, and so that's why I think for the past 2 weeks, right, market wasn't doing that well in some of the narratives, especially on Arbitrum. That's why a lot of the tokens that I posted were not doing that well. But yeah, so keep this in mind when you're
of
looking at
course.
my threads and my tweets, and don't ape into every single thing that I post. Always like always do your own research, right? And
Right.
come up with your own, sort of thesis in why you should be investing.
You had
Because,
I remember seeing this. You had such a good this post. I can't seem to find it. But I remember seeing it where you talked about your methodology on degenning into some of these like smaller tokens, your the risk management, it was like divided into five different sections,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was about, yeah, I'll try to find it, but yeah, it was very well done. So I
Oh,
remember
thanks,
reading
man.
that and sizing and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it comes down to a lot in terms of sizing and then managing your different part of portfolio. Like the gist of it is that like when you're investing in micro caps, right? You shouldn't put like 100% or like 50% of your portfolio into a single micro cap coin.
No,
That
you're
is,
ding me then.
yeah, that will be extremely risky. Like you could win big, right? Imagine like, ETH pump to 2K like tomorrow. Your
Mm,
micro cap could be like doing 3x within, a single day. But on the off chance that that don't happen, your your microcaps coin will you will be minus 50%, and then you wouldn't
right.
want that to happen, right? Yeah, I think for most people, consistent gains is the best kind of gains, right? It all
Yeah, of
comes down
course.
to your mental sort of. I think, yeah, it comes down to your mental, right? You don't want your hard-earned money to just go 50%, just lose just like that, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
um, but yeah, back to the Arbitrum microcaps, right? I guess a lot of the tokens that I find, I'm not using any kind of special tools that other people don't use. It's just that I know where to look, I guess. And then I just keep on looking at the same place every single day. I set different intervals in which I should check this and check that and see if there's something new, I
And
guess.
what is that?
uh, the place that I suggest everybody to look into and everybody to familiarize themselves with, if they're not familiarized already, is DeFi Llama.
Of
Especially
course.
crypto beginners, right? There's so many things you could find on DeFi Llama. The main place that I go into is I go into DeFi, I go into Chain, and then I click Arbitrum or any other chains that you want to explore. And then on
Mm,
these chains, um, like it will list like 50, hundreds of projects, right, on Arbitrum. Uh, and what I usually scroll through, how I scroll through is that I would, filter it by category, and then I'll mainly look at dexes and look at dex first, and then look at the new protocol that are just, getting listed on Arbitrum there. And easiest way in which you can identify is that if there's numbers only on, the 1 day increase in TVL column, that is, most likely going to be a new DEX. So I identify that names, right? And then, look into it, check out the website, check out the Twitter. Is it something new? Are they gaining traction in terms of TVL? Maybe check out the price, how's their price doing? Check out the tokenomics, read all these fundamental things that you would usually look at when you evaluate crypto projects. For me, I mainly look at two things. Um, this is what I tell a lot of people as well. Like number one is tokenomics, right?
yep.
If you know if there's something unique about the tokenomics, whether they have, any lockup mechanisms, or whether, it has a lot of fee sharing mechanisms there, or in terms of vesting schedule, whether it makes sense, whether, they're pre-selling a lot of portion of their supply to
Mm,
the, or whether, the team is holding a lot of token there, whether the vesting makes sense. Vesting ties in directly into the selling pressures, right? And yeah, so I look at all this, right, as the first thing. The second thing I would look at is the hype in general. So the hype, uh, how I look at it is that I go into Twitter, and then I would type in that coin, put in dollar sign and put in that coin, and look at the feeds, for the past days or weeks, whether there are a lot of crypto uh, Twitter influencers covering this
mm,
specific token. And once you could identify that, the hype is high or low, yeah, you can decide based on that whether it makes sense to get in now.
yep.
And if the micro caps tokens that has, launched for a while, right? I would look at the technical analysis of that token. I think this is
Right.
very important because when micro caps pump, it pump hard, and when micro caps dump, it dumps hard as well. So you
Right.
need to
Right.
be able to at least um, plot in the support level and the resistance level of that specific token. One thing that I, did well recently is with Flash, Flash Stake. If you guys have never heard of Flash Stake, they are uh, similar to Pendo Finance, where you can sort of um, put in your token, right, and then receive a fixed yield based on the yields that you want to get. And the key difference between
Isn't it LSD? It's the whole LSD narrative, right? Where you
yeah,
are able
yeah,
to get a staking token and you deposit that staking token into the platform to get even more yields.
yeah. This is writing the LSD narrative as well, right? So in terms of Pendo, you could divide your token to a yield token or a principal token, in which you can choose to long yield, short yield, or fixed yield. So you could trade your yields, and Pendo essentially create a marketplace for yields. And with LSDs coming into play, right? Pendo has been accumulating a lot of varieties of LSD tokens in which you can
Right.
play around with, the yields on the Pendle platform. And
Sorry, sorry.
yeah,
Could you explain Pendle a little bit? I haven't done any research on Pendle, so what you said, I think I remember reading about them like 2 years ago when they were racing, or, yeah, like a while ago, right? But you're
yeah,
saying that Pendle basically allows you to short yield, long yield, or take the principal.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm no expert in Pendle also, but I'll actually be creating a thread on Pendle on Flash and
Awesome.
also
Let me
the
know.
competitive landscape of this in full details later on.